All right, hello everybody. This is Todd from the Table Ready Podcast, and we're here to get into our episode today. I know I'm running a little bit late. If you're watching on YouTube, obviously I'm not late because it's the same time as always. But for you watching on Twitch, here I am, a little bit late. So what we're going to do is we're actually going to go over the balance data slate that just dropped yesterday. And I really kind of just went through everything last night, tried to catch up on everything, try to keep motivated on everything that's going on. So, excuse me if I get something a little bit wrong, but I'm going to try to get all the information I got packed into one little package here for the rest of this video. So my last 2 weeks, of course, I'm going to start off with. Got a lot of painting done. I actually painted some Wraith Blades. I finished painting my Biologist Apothecary. So he's done. And you may or may not have seen, if you're on Facebook, the Gravis Captain, he's done as well. So I can play Combat Patrol with my kids. I can play the Dark Angels Combat Patrol, which I didn't actually have the possibility of playing before. So now that I can do that, we're going to get some more games in. And of course, if you could actually see right here, if the camera went a little bit lower, I'm actually set up on the gaming table. I had to move a couple things around just to get this started. So that being said, let's get right into our episode for today. And again, there's a couple things I'm going to try and keep an eye on while I'm going through all this. So let's try to get this straightened out. Got some notes here, so if I'm looking down, I'm actually looking at my tablet just to keep an eye everything straight. And I'm going to try to keep focused on the screen as I'm going here. So bear with me a little bit. So to start off with the Adeptus Sororitas, their first thing is they made a change to Miracle Dice. I think the change is well deserved. You're going to see Battle Sisters come back on the table with some enthusiasm. And they changed one line. One line made the change to bring everything back, and that's going to be how Miracle Dice work. Of course, you're going to get the ones at the start of each battle round. That didn't change. But the other one is you're going to, each time your Adeptus Sororitas unit from your army is destroyed, you're going to get those Miracle Dice right off the bat. Instead of waiting for the end of the phase or end of the turn, you're going to get it right away. And that's going to be a big help to those Sisters players that really want to dive into that. So the next important change is for the Eldari. They changed how Azurmen worked. Look, most people haven't even gotten a chance to put them on the table yet. To be honest, my local Games Workshop hasn't even gotten one in stock, so I haven't had a chance to play the new Azurmen, let alone put them together or paint them or get them on the table. So, but they did change his one ability to the anti-infantry 5-up, for the Hand of Azurin, his once per battle turn. So that's a pretty good one. Astra Militarum, of course, another brand new army. They updated the Fire Zone Purge Detachment rule, and specifically the Firing Hot stratagem. I know there was a lot of people that were really leaning into this that were Astra Militarum players. They're going to be a little sore on this one. They changed the CP cost to 2 CP, which is going to make it a little bit harder to use. And of course, until the end of the phase, when targeting an enemy unit, it has to be within 12 inches now. So, yeah, you're still going to see it all the time. It's an incredibly crazy stratagem. It might still be worth this 2 CP, but you might see people changing over to some of the other stratagems for, instead of leaning on that firing hot, or maybe not leaning on that firing hot so fast. The other thing they changed was those Creed combat engineers, their remote mine ability, and they did change that to a 9-inch range. And of course, like you're going to see in a lot of these rules, a lot of the rules, they're really pushing that it has to be visible to the bearer of the ability. So we're going to repeat on that a couple times throughout the talk here, the segment here. And of course, they also changed the mortal wounds a little bit. They suffer die 3 mortal wounds or 2 die 3 if it's a vehicle. So I think that's a reasonable change. But you are definitely going to see that stratagem's a big cooker on that one, I think. The next one on my list here is Chaos Demons. So they did a lot of changes with the Legion of Excess. I don't know if it's going to affect anybody in a regular state. If you're playing at home or your buddy's house or whatever. And they changed the whole detachment rule, and I'm just going to read out the segment leading up to the change here, and you'll probably understand what I'm talking about if you're a Legion of Excess detachment player. And it says each time a unit ends a charge move, you can declare it will perform a seductive gambit. If you do, until the end of your turn, this does not have the fight's first ability, but instead, each time a model in this unit makes an attack, you can reroll the hit roll of 1, and you can reroll the wound roll of 1. If this unit is within your army's Shadow of Chaos, you can instead reroll all hit rolls and reroll the wound roll of 1. And from what I understand, that's a tone down. I don't have a Slaanesh Demon player in my group, so I haven't really come across that one specifically. They also had a change to that Thieves of Pain stratagem, and just to include monsters and vehicles, or I'm sorry, they excluded monsters and vehicles, and then of course that effect is within 9 inches and only visible to that unit. Like I said, we're going to see that a couple times. And then the Overwhelming Excess stratagem, that's going to be in your shooting phase or fight phase. So that kind of got a little bit better. And then it lasts until the end of the phase. Each time an attack targets your unit, subtract 1 from their hit roll. So a little bit of a change there. Like I said, I don't really have a lot of demon players in my group. I think I have the only demon models in the group, and they're all Siege Demons. So I wish I could say that I understood a little bit better. I guess I could focus on that till the next time it comes up. Couple armies, no changes at all on rules. Dark Angels, my Dark Angels didn't get a rule change at all. Death Guard, no changes at all. Drakari, no changes at all. And Gene Stealer Cults did not get a change either, so that's all good. Grey Knights got a little bit of a change, and of course this is another one for their Hollowed Ground Detachment rule, and it's each time a model in a Grey Knights unit from your army makes an attack, and they added that targets a visible target into that line. So again, just that rules clarification that units have to see the units that they're addressing. Not a big deal. I think that's all reasonable. Let me switch a page here. I went by quicker than I thought. No change to Imperial Agents or Imperial Knights. Of course, Imperial Knights are probably getting a codex within sometime soon. I know they were kind of testing it for, or not testing it, but slating it for early 2025. So them and Chaos Knights are probably right around the corner. The Leagues of Votann, of course, got a little bit of change, and that would be they added in addition at the start of the battle, select 2 units from your opponent's army Each of those units start the battle with 2 judgment tokens. So that's a little bit of a change there. I think that gives them an extra one, if I remember correctly. Again, Leagues of Votann are not top tier in my group. And then the Ruthless Efficiency Detachment rule, at the start of the battle, select an additional number of units from your opponent's army, depending on the size of the battle. So that for Incursion, that would be 1 more unit. For Strike Force, it would be 2 units. And of course, for Onslaught, you get 4 units for that. So that's about it for that. Orcs got, what did they get? Oh, they had to change to the Tank Buster's Bomb Squig ability. So twice per battle, after this unit ends a normal move, you can use 1 Bomb Squig. If you do, select the enemy unit within 12 inches. And of course, and is visible to this unit, and roll a die 6. So on a 3+, that enemy suffers die 3 mortal wounds. So on that, the Orcs also got an extra detachment in the balance update. And I think it's fantastic. And if I get some time, we're going to get into that too. Of course, I don't want this video to run too long. So I'm going to stop there. We're going to try to tackle that at the end. And then, but if you're an Orc player, you should be very happy. The Daka detachment is fantastic. It's exactly what the Orcs needed. So there's tons of great ways to play Orcs. So the big one that I saw all the hype online about this balanced data slate was the Oath of Moment army rule. I don't think it's a big deal. I mean, I think it's the change that they made, I think, is exactly what they intended last time, just they didn't word it properly. Or somebody decided that they needed to be abusive on it and change it up. So what they did do was they clarified, if you're using a Space Marine detachment and your army does not include 1 or more of these Black Templar, Blood Angels, Dark Angels, Death Watch, Space Wolves, you get that +1 to wound roll. So from what I didn't understand why this was necessary until I started looking it up, and apparently there were a lot of Blood Angels players, and I'm sure it wasn't just them, but there were a lot of Blood Angels players that would not play Blood Angels units. They would only play units from the Space Marine Codex, and then use like the Liberator Task Force, or something like that to try to cash in on the Oath of Moment rule. Obviously, I don't think it was ever intended that way, so they just clarified that up. And I think anybody that's upset about that is just kind of abusing the rules as it was. I understand rules is written, rules is intended, 2 very different things. But, you know, we try to play rules as intended because not anybody's perfect on any of this stuff. So that was a big clear up. A lot of people made a big deal about it. I don't know. I don't really see it. I thought it was kind of just an unnecessary adjustment. So I'm not going to dwell on that anymore. The Stormlance Task Force detachment, all they did was change the Windswift evasion stratagem, and they just narrowed that down to just infantry or mounted models. Where it was available for any Adeptus Ares unit. If you're taking that Stormlance Task Force, you're kind of focusing more towards bikes and stuff anyways. So I get it. I guess a lot, you know, you could use it on vehicles before, you know, your Land Raiders or whatever you're throwing in there, Predators, so on and so forth. But, yeah. So that works. Then they changed the Uriel Ventress. Where did I see him at? There he is. Uriel Ventress's rule changed. And they changed the Master of the Fleet rule to only affect Phobos, Gravis, and Tacticus infantry instead of all infantry. That's the one that gives them the deep strike ability. They just narrowed it down to Phobos, Gravis, and Tacticus. I mean, Terminators already have deep strike. I don't really know what else you would throw into that. So, yeah, okay. They clarified it up a little bit. I'm sure somebody was being a little cagey with it. And again, that's one of those, I don't think that the rules were necessarily bad. They just didn't jive. And then, of course, that Lieutenant Phobos armor strategic dispersal ability. And they just added the line, if it does, well, I'll read the whole thing. In your shooting phase, after the model's unit has shot, if it's not within engagement range of one or more enemy units, it can make a normal move of 6 inches. If it does until the end of the turn, this unit is not eligible to declare a charge. Okay. So you get an extra movement. That's actually kind of useful. They just added that you can't declare a charge, which kind of makes sense. You are getting 2 movements already. After that, I think that's it. Space Wolves didn't get anything. Tau didn't get any changes, but they got a whole nother detachment, and we're going to try and talk about that later too. My Thousand Suns still sitting where they're sitting, but they're sitting pretty good. So Tyranids, no changes. They will go over the points updates later. Well, actually very soon, because World Eaters also did not get a change. So we're going to adjust that all up. That was everything in the balanced data slate. Not too bad. Not a lot of big changes. Definitely a lot of clarifications and a lot of make sure you can see your enemy with this ability you're going to use. So I don't think anything's too big, too important to really throw anything out of whack. Now, of course, the part that, I should say other than Sisters and the Adeptus Sororitas. And the other reason why Adeptus Sororitas are going to be on the table is they got point drops. Arcoflagellants, 10 models went down 10 points. The Sacrosants went down 20 points for 10 model squad. The Dominion squad down 10 points. Zephyrum, 10-man squad, 10 points. 5-man squad, 5 points. Sephirums, the Sephirum squads with an S, they're down 5 points. 10 models down 20 points. Repentia are cheaper by, a point per model. Sororitas are going to see their way back on the table. Just the change in those miracle dice and point drops all the way around. Finally, get the models back off the shelf. I know you took a hit in December. Get them back on the shelf, put them back on the table, because it's time to have fun with your sisters again. Adeptus Custodes, they got a mixed bag here. The name character, the Aaliyah, down 10 points. Blade Champion actually went up. Custodian Guard went down 10 points, whether you take 4 models or 5 models, down 10 points. The Custodian Wardens, up 10 points. Knight Centura, down 15 points. Shield Captains, down 15 points. Shield Captain and Terminator, down 10 points. Shield Captain on the jet bike, down 10 points. Shield Captains just got cheaper all the way around. The Venerable Contemptor Dreadnought went up. The Telemon went up. And the Solar Spearhead Augury Uplink went up 10 points. So a little bit up, a little bit of down. If you're playing a little heavier, character heavy, you're actually going to save a little bit. If you really like those Blade Champions and the Wardens, They're going to cost you a little bit more, but I don't think enough to really throw them out of the game. As far as AdMech goes, AdMech got some good love here too, but not a lot. Belisarius Call, anybody that plays the Call, you'll be happy. He's down 15 points to 135. I really think they kind of honed that in, but I would, dropping 15 points, I think they're probably going to adjust him 5 points one way or another next time, just to see how he plays out. I know Call is very special to AdMech players. The other one that changed is that Tech Priest Dominus went down 5 points, and no big deal. So after that, the Eldari actually took a hit. Points just came out 2 weeks ago. They already updated the points. So if you're really digging into Eldar at this point, your Dark Eldar 10-man Dark Reaper squads went up 15 points. They do find a strict lethality at 10 guys. Let me tell you, 5 guys are pretty potent. 10 guys are just devastating. Dire Avengers went up 5 points for 5 and 10 points for 10. I wouldn't say they're 80 and 160. I wouldn't really say they're out of whack at this point. I think they're in a good place yet. Striking Scorpions went up 10 points for 5 models, but no change on 10. A lot of people were really just pushing those 5-man squads. I would probably do that too. I think I like those 5-man squads. Fire Dragons up 10 points for 5, 20 points for 10. I think they went a little expensive, but I don't think you're going to see any less of them. I think that's just the tax you're going to pay for them at this point. People are really loving their Fire Dragons, especially with Fuegan in there. Wave Serpents got 10 points more expensive. Again, I don't think that's enough to throw a Wave Serpent off your list. I think you'll find 10 points somewhere else to really throw that back in there. No changes for the Inari, or anything like that. Astra Militarum, they got a couple of hits. No drops at all. The Field Ordnance Batteries went up 10 points. Cadian Heavy Weapon Squads went up 15 points. That one's kind of rough. Catcheted Heavy Weapon Squads up 15 points as well. They're pretty much the same thing. Scions took a little bit of a hit. Everybody was really running the heck out of them, so I would say that's probably a given. And again, the Tempestus Command Squad up 10 points. I think that's kind of realistic at this point. The Bridgehead Strike, the Bombast class Fox Array up 10 points. I don't think that's really terrible. Alright, no changes on Black Templar, so that's good with them. Blood Angels. Blood Angels Captains got cheaper? No, I'm sorry. Death Company got cheaper. So the Death Company Captain with Jump Pack down 10 points. Company Marines, Death Company, the regular Marines are down 5 points for 5 and 20 points for 10. So they're actually 10-man squads, actually kind of reasonable. The Death Company with bolt rifles down 5 or down 20 again for the 10-man squad. So I think that's in great shape. The Liberator Assault Group, Rage Fuel Warrior, up 10 points. Again, if you're going to take it, you're going to make room for it. I think that's exactly what you're going to do. So, Chaos Demons. What a mixed bag. Bellicor went up 50 points. You're still going to play him. If you want Bellicor on the list, you're still going to play him. With the 50 points. 375 points for him. That's a rough one. But still cheaper than Magnus. Fleshhounds went up 5 points or 10 points. The Great Unclean One went up 20 points to 250. For some reason, Nurglings went down. I guess they're overcosted at this point, but that's okay. Anybody that throws Nurglings in their list, 3 models, 5 points for every 3 models they went down. So 35, 60, and 90 for 9 models. The Contorted Epitome went up 20 points. Rodigus went up 20 points. It seems about appropriate since the Great and Clean one did. The Fiends went up 5 and 10 points. Flamers went down. 3 Flamers are 65 points, and 6 models are 130. Shalaxi went down 45 points. She was getting a lot of play before, and that's not going to change now at a cheaper price. Screamers went down just 5 points for 3 and 10 points for 6. What else we got here? We also got, the Mask went up 10 points. All right. Of course, that Demonic Incursion, the Endless Gift went up 15 points. Everything else kind of stayed the same. Shocker, Chaos Knights, the Desecrator, the Despoiler, and the Tyrant all went down in price. So your Desecrator, Despoiler, 400 points each, and then the Tyrant is at 480. That's pretty reasonable, I think. I would be happy if I was a Chaos Knight player. Codex Chaos Space Marines. Forge Fiend went down 10 points. And here's another thing that we're going to see as a theme. Last Balanced Data Slate, the Predators, las cannons all got that reroll of damage, and this time they all went up in price. Not big. You're still going to play them. Chaos Predator Annihilator up 5 points to 135. Lord Discordant on the Hellstalker down 15 points for 160. And that's about it for them. Dark Angels players, none of your lists changed. Nothing changed with any of your rules. What a good day. We're in a good spot. We'll take it. Death Guard. The only thing that they got to change on, 2 things. Their Predators both went up a couple points. 5 for the Annihilator, 10 for the Destructor. But in exchange, you got cheaper Myphetic Blight Haulers. So maybe you want to trade a Predator in for a Blight Hauler. Probably not, but hey, might be worth a shot. Try it out. Deathwatch. The only thing that changed for Deathwatch is their Terminator squad. Their 5-man squad went up 10. Their 10-man squad went down 10. So 190 and 350 for their Terminators. Let's see. Drukhari. Witches changed. They got 10 points cheaper. Calibite Warriors got 10 points cheaper. Yes, good for them. Again, Emperor's Children. Wow. So the Codex is out? Is it out? Is out this weekend? I don't know. Whatever it is. It's either just out or it's not out yet. I'm a little behind. I just can't remember off the top of my head. But that's okay. The things they marked up are Chaos Rhino, Chaos Spawn, both got more expensive. The Rapid Evisceration Enhancement Heretic Adept went up 5 points, and the Slaanesh Chosen Eager to Prove went up 5 points. Their reductions. Terminators got cheaper for down to 170. The Demon Prince with Wings went down 15 to 180. Flawless Blades dropped points. That's kind of good because they look kind of expensive. 110 points for 3 models, 220 for 6 models. So they actually got 20 and 40 points cheaper. Infractors, minus 10 points. They're down 10 points for 5 models, down 30 points for 10 models. The Lord Exultant and the Lord I'm never going to be able to say that. The other Lord, both down. The Mauler Fiend, down 10 points. Sorcerer, down 10 points. Tormentors, down 10 points or 20 points for 5 or 10 man squads. Daemonettes are down 30 points. Fiends are down. Keeper of Secrets is down 20 points. And Shalaxi Hellbane is down 10 points. The Carnival Excess Detachment, they got changes all the way around. I think most people haven't even really got their codexes or their models together. So just keep an idea that they changed. Gene Stealers, they only got one slight change. The Neophyte Hybrids, 20 model squad, went up 15 points. I don't think it's a big deal. I don't know that anybody's really running 10 unless they really, really want to overwhelm somebody. Grey Knights, the Interceptor squad got 5 points cheaper, or 10 for the 10-man models, and that's about it for them. The Calyxus Assassin went down 15 points for the Agents of the Imperium. Let's see. 85. What are the other assassins? Eversor is 110. Calidus is 100. And what's the other one? Eversor is Vindicare. Vindicare is 110. So, I mean, in most cases, with that special rule where you can swap out assassins, I'd probably just pay for the more expensive one and just take whatever fits best. So I don't know if you're going to be often taking the cheapest one and trying to work your way up. Let's see. Imperial Knights went down. The Castellans are down to 480, and the Valiants down to 480, and they now match the price of the Chaos ones. And of course, the Knight Errant, Gallant, blah blah blah. None of those changed. Leagues of Votan didn't change. Necrons. The only thing, let's see. Doomsday Arc went up 10 points to an even 200. And that's it. Wow. Boy, I thought somebody told me they got a price decrease, but apparently not. All right. So Codex Orcs, the Big Mech with the shock attack gun went up 10 points, and that's probably going to be a reasonable upgrade considering that new detachment, because you're going to want to run shock attack guns. Tank Busters, they got a little bit better rules, so they went up a little bit more in price, up 15 points to 135. And I think that's it for Orcs. Oh no, the Tactical Brigade, the Mech Captain went up 10 points. But that's about it. That more DACA detachment, that's going to be fun to play, though. Space Marines. Here's where the fun starts. Not really. Everybody plays Space Marines. Everybody plays against Space Marines, so you really need to know the points changes. The big one is the Ballistus Dreadnought, up 10 to 140 points. Blade Guard Vets actually got cheaper. I kind of like that. Minus 10 points, down 10 points for 3 models, 20 points for 6, 280 and 160. I think that's a good change. The Centurion Devastators actually get cheaper. I still think they're kind of hard to take. 165 for 3 or 330. They do put out a lot of firepower, though. But I still don't see many people putting them on the table, but I hope to. For 165 for 3, I would think that that's a possibility coming up. Company Heroes got 10 points more expensive to 105. I still don't think that's a bad price for them. If you're running them now, you're probably going to continue to run them. Marnius Calgar went up 10 points. Again, if you're running Marnius Calgar, you're still going to continue to run Marnius Calgar. Nothing's going to change there. Your Predator tax is there. And for some odd reason, the Vindicare and the Whirlwind got the 10-point tax as well. I don't know. There have been a lot of talk about Vindicators, and they're getting really tough. And I don't know. I have not yet tried one, let alone 2 or 3. But I hear it's doing pretty amazing for what it does. I don't see anybody playing Whirlwinds. I guess there is a couple tournament lists out there. I've actually seen, I actually just heard about a Dark Angels one with a Whirlwind that did pretty well at a tournament. I don't recall where that was at the time. The Gladius Task Force Fire Discipline is down 15 points to 25. I think that's fantastic. That's a good one. The Librarius Conclave Fusillade went up 20 points to 35. I don't know. That might just work that out of its range. Space Wolves got no changes, but I think they're probably due for an update sometime soon. Let's hope so, Space Wolf players. I think you deserve it. The Krutox Rampagers for the Tau, they went down 10 points or 20 points to 85 or 170. I think that's fine. The Kroot Lone Spears down 10 points. I think that's good too. I don't think he's going to put him in a different position, though. I think they're pretty much the same. Now, for my boys in blue, the Thousand Suns, your Mutalith Vortex Beast went up 5 points. You're still going to play it. Your Scarab Occult Terminators got cheaper. 10 points for 5, 20 points for 10. I have a 5-man squad, and I think that's always enough in my army. But it should be okay. I don't think you're going to change how much you're going to play them. Thousand Sun Cultists, if you're doing with a 20-man squad, you went down 10 points. I think it's fair. I don't know that many people that are running Cultists. If you are, you're doing them just to sit on objectives, and 10 men are usually just enough for that. The Predator tax here again, and also the Vindicator tax, same thing. I haven't even considered a Vindicator for the Thousand Suns, so I can't say whether I would play it or not. I guess I could give it a try. I do only have one Vindicator and it's painted green for my Dark Angels, so. But I could always try it. Thousand Sun Sorcerer and Terminator armor got cheaper by 10 points. The Zangor Enlightened, the 6 models went down 10 points. And the 20-man Zangor squads went down 10 points. So that's okay. I think that's in good taste. You're not going to have any problems with that. You're going to pay a little more for your Predators, your Vortex Beast. Your Scarabs got cheaper. It's probably balanced out in the end. I think that's a good playable setup. Tyranids. Logan was really excited about this because the list that he just played, he actually, like I said in the beginning, he played a demo game. The scenery is still on the table. I'm recording from the table. He actually had 3 of these units the 3 units that got cheaper were in his army, so he's more than ecstatic over that. He did play the Trigon that went down 10 points down to 140. The Neurolictor down 10 points to 80, and the Hive Tyrant down 10 points to 225. The Exocrine actually went up 5 points, and the Tyrannofax went up 10 points to even 200. And I think that's reasonable. You're not going to be too upset about that. World Eaters, again, they got the Predator tax, but the good thing for them is their Demon Princes both went down in price by 15 points each, and the World Eaters Lord on the Juggernaut went down 20 points. So I think all in all, you're really in good shape. If you're running Demon Princes, you're definitely in real good shape. You get that Lord on the Juggernaut at 80 points. He's definitely worth it. Because he is a beast. And that's about it. That's it for the points. The last thing that I did want to do while I have you here is we're going to tackle these two detachments, and we're going to start first with the experimental protocol cadre for the Tau. What an amazing, they just picked the one thing that Tau needed to come up and play with the rest of the big boys. Oh my lord. That's all I gotta say. So their detachment rule for this experimental prototype cadre is they just add 6 inches to the range characteristic of ranged weapons. Period. So anything in your Tau Empire gets an extra 6-inch range, 6-inch longer flamers, 6-inch longer railguns, 6-inch longer breacher, the blasters for the breachers. There's nothing bad about this. This is amazing. It does focus a little bit on the commander and crisis suit, I think. All the enhancements do, because they have very specific enhancements, and basically one for each of the weapons that you can throw in there. If you have an air bursting fragmentation projector equipped on somebody, you can add the supernova launcher that improves the strength characteristic of the weapon by 3 and improves the armor penetration and damage by 1. Hello, thank you. The Thermoneutronic projector. You select one model, select one Tau Flamer equipped by the bearer, improve the strength characteristic of that weapon by 2, plus 2 strength flamers. That's all I gotta say. And improves the armor penetration and damage characteristic by 1. So it wasn't just enough just to up the strength, they also upped the armor penetration and damage. And this is going to be the theme all across. The plasma accelerator rifle increase the strength characteristic of a plasma rifle by 2, and then increase its armor penetration and damage by 1. And then the fusion blades. You select one fusion blaster. This one improves the attacks characteristic by 1, improves the strength characteristic by 3, and that weapon now has melt of 4. Can I take all of them on one guy, please? I know you can't, but wow. Thank you. Tau players, be happy. The stratagems are all pretty much amazing. The automated repair drones, one Tau battlesuit unit from your army, select one battlesuit model in that unit. That model regains a die 3 plus 1 lost wounds. For 1 CP, you get to repair your crisis suits. Or, I'm sorry, any of your battle suits. Well, that's even better. Okay, we'll take that. The reactive impact dampeners. Until the end of the phase, each time an attack targets your unit, if the strength characteristic is greater than the toughness characteristic, you subtract 1 to the wound roll. And that's on all Tau Empire battlesuits. Experimental weaponry. Use it in your shooting phase. 1 CP again. 1 Tau Empire army or Empire unit from your army that has not been selected to shoot until the end of the phase. Each time you roll 1 or more dice to determine the number of dice attacks made with a weapon equipped by a model in your unit, you can re-roll the results. So, claimers? You can just reroll them. Could you imagine a squad of crisis suits, the Flamer crisis suits? Thank you, please. The experimental ammunition. This goes off in your shooting phase as well. 1 CP. And that one, excuse me, select one of your units to apply until the end of the phase. Improve the strength characteristic of a ranged weapon equipped by a model in your unit by 1. Improve the strength and armor penetration of ranged weapons equipped in this model, but you make it hazardous. Yeah, that one's good. I could definitely see some usage in that. The threat assessment analyzer is select one target unit in your shooting phase for 1 CP. That unit gets sustained hits 1 or lethal hits ability until the end of the phase. Ranged weapons equipped by models in your unit selected. You can instead select sustained hits 1, lethal hits. So both of them, and hazardous. So I could see that. Amazing. This is definitely the Tau detachment that you needed. And of course, the last one that you have here is the Neuroweb System Jammer. In your opponent's shooting phase, just after an enemy has selected its targets, 1 crisis suit unit in your army that has been selected as the target. Until the end of your phase, you can only be selected as a target of a ranged attack if the attacking model is within 18 inches. So that's another almost like a lone up, but it's 18 inches. That's another good one. I love it. Everybody, all the Tau players should be incredibly happy with that. The other big one that we got was, whoops, I closed it by accident, was the Orcs Mordaka. The Custodes got one too. I didn't really get a good chance to read it, so I'm going to skip that one. Maybe we'll tackle that on the next one. The Mordaka detachment, it's basically during your shooting phase, ranged weapons equipped with Orcs Infantry or Orcs Walker have sustained hits 2 ability. Oh boy, that's a lot of bullets downfield. And I got to read the explanation on this because I love it. Orcs have no real concept of ammunition preservation, instead tending to hold the trigger down until the ammunition runs dry or the weapon falls apart in their hands. Daka 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 is the detachment rule. So, of course, everything here is a lot of the enhancements is the Gobshot Thunderboss, which is an Orc model only. Ranged weapons equipped by the bearer have the devastating wounds and hazardous ability. The Dead Shiny Shooters, again for Orcs, obviously, ranged weapons equipped by models in the bearer's unit have rapid fire 1. So that's a good one. You basically give them better guns. That unit better guns. The targeting squigs, that's for Orc model only. Each time a model in the bearer's unit makes a range attack, add 1 to the hit roll. So they can actually have targeters. And Zogoff and Eat Daka, the bearer's unit is eligible to shoot in a turn in which it fell back. Very handy. And of course, the enhancements are all shooting related. Orcs is still Orcs, meaning that's still one of the fight phase. So 1 Orc unit in your army that has not been selected to fight yet until the end of the phase. Each time a model in this unit makes an attack that targets an enemy unit, reroll the wound roll of 1. It's very handy. Get Stuck In, Lads, which is another... which is in your command phase. 1 Orc unit from your army until the start of the next command phase. The WA is active for your unit, even if you have already called the WA this battle. So, more WA for 1 CP. more WA. There you go. Huge show-offs, another 1 CP, 1 command point, and this is for your Orc Walkers. It's until the start of your next command phase. Improve your unit's move, leadership, objective control characteristic by 1, and each time the model in your unit makes an attack, add +1 to the roll. After that, another 1 CP. I think these are all 1 CP. They are all 1 CP. 1 command point. Long control bursts is the start of your shooting phase. You select a character, select 1 enemy unit within 18 inches of that character. Until the end of the phase, weapons equipped by orc models from your army have the ignore cover ability while targeting that unit. Special shells is another one in your shooting phase. One orcs unit from your army that has not been selected to shoot this phase. Until the end of the phase, each time a model in this unit makes a range attack, targets the closest eligible target within 18 inches, you can improve their armor penetration characteristic of ranged weapons equipped by models in this unit by 1. And the last one, called that DACA, and this one goes in your opponent's shooting phase just after an enemy unit has shot. 1 orcs unit from your army that had 1 or more of its models destroyed as a result of attacking units' attacks. Your unit can shoot as if it were their shooting phase. So, more shooty orcs? Yes, please. So that's fantastic. If you're a Tau player or an Orc player, I would be very happy. Again, I didn't read the Custodes one. I'll get into that one later. And of course, they think they changed one of the demon ones. Again, I didn't get a chance to read that one, so we'll catch up on that one later. So that's about it. I know that was a lot. I thank everybody that held on here through the whole thing. I certainly appreciate it. I do want to thank everybody for listening to the whole thing, and anybody that does support this channel, I appreciate it greatly. So for today, this is Todd, and we're here at Table Ready to help you and your models become table ready. And thanks for watching. Have a great day.